Nelly with me. Oh, just checking because I want her in with me. Okay. Ah, that's my Nelly back there. Okay. Hello, everyone. I thought it was about time that I actually recorded information, and it's time for me to just put it on the internet. So you might as well sit back and relax. Um, I'm recording information about my life and the horrors I've experienced as a Section 8 tenant through Housing Authority. Um, First, I'd like to say my topic, I recall saying that it was uh, the House of Horrors. I mean, not the House of Horrors, but how I escaped the horrors of Section 8. That's what it was. How I escaped the horrors of Section 8. Okay. Um, Started when I was 19. I was 19 years old, and at that time, Chanel was about maybe one, going on two. And at the time, I was living with my stepmom, along with my sister, with her son, and my other sister, in addition to my stepmom having her own kids, and we were kind of crowded. But she got such a good spirit and a lovely soul. This woman took us in, and I tell you, she looked out for all of us, regardless whether we were her kids or not. And I love her dearly for that. Her name, by the way, is Cora Pitt. So let me just go ahead. So now what happens is they put an ad in the paper, and by us all living in cramped quarters, and on top of each other, I just felt like I don't want to be a burden to nobody. So I always tried to get my own, but couldn't because I lacked an education. I will admit I was young, and I had a baby so I had to take care of. So okay, they put an ad in the paper, and they said, well, anybody interested in having Section 8. And so if you're interested in Section 8, it was like, I think it said either cut out the paper and fill it out and bring it to Housing Authority, or you can make copies of it and provide it to other people and bring it down there. And so at the time, my sister and I read that and we were like, what? This is an opportunity of a lifetime to try to get our own place. Then I was thinking, if I do that, then I can go to school. And if I go to school, I got to take care of this one over here. That's going to be the best thing that I could even have. And not only that, I would no longer be a burden on somebody else, which is my stepmother. So we filled our paperwork out, but before we sent ours in, we were going down the blocks and we was helping other people because back then everybody was living with somebody. So there was some mothers who was living with maybe their sisters. There was cousins living with other cousins, family members. Everybody was living with somebody back then. So we went out and we were telling everybody about it. Everybody was knew about it. So some people was at work and couldn't get downtown and to put their paperwork in. So my sister did it for them. Me and her, we did it for them, and we were like putting in everybody's information for them. Just trying to help. And we put everybody's information in. Matter of fact, we put everybody's information in before we put our own in. And when we finally got ours in, when they came out and started distributing the vouchers to everybody, she and I, we got ours first. And I was like, wow, we got ours first. And here it is. We were the last one to put ours in. Okay. So we get ours. And as soon as we get ours, the first thing they said, well, they tell you how much of apartment you can, you look for a place, how much you can go and look for a place. And then they said, well, you'll pay a certain amount per month ratio based on like even if you work, and I think give you all this information. Of course, there's a lot of paperwork to sign, and I'm signing away, not paying attention. I'm signing over here, so you have to sign here, 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 and there. And at this time, Nothing didn't seem out of the norm. It seemed like this was ordinary. This was the process. And I'm thinking, okay. So I signed all the paperwork and they telling me and giving me information about, if you get a place, this is what you're eligible for with your daughter. You can get an apartment with XYZ amount of dollars. Let's say back then everything was cheap. So you can get an apartment for $900. It could be a 2-bedroom. And it was sometimes less than that. And if you found something and it was less than that, then of course you came out. So I happened to find an apartment. My first apartment was at 555 South 17th Street, right on the corner of 16th Avenue. Great big apartment building. Apartment was lovely. Loved it. So I get this apartment. I moved out of my stepmom's house, and I appreciate her so much because I'm telling you, this woman, and I have to add this in because she never went out to go party and just left kids, or she never felt like if I did for my kids, I'm not going to do for y'all. Whatever she did for her kids, she did for us. So she looked out for us big time. I love that woman to life. I'm going to say that, but to life. Her name again is Cora Pitt. And to this day, I'll never forget everything she done for me. However, when I moved out, got my place, and I did everything I said I was going to do. So I signed up for Sawyer Business School because I wanted to go to school, but I wanted to get into travel and tourism, because that's what it was. And I wanted to become this travel agent or maybe somebody who can assist people with packages. So I started doing that after I graduated. This was back in 87 when I graduated. So, okay, I graduate, I goes and I get my first job. It was a travel agency position, and I was making reservations for people. Sometimes they had positions where it's that they book complete packages. Like for instance, if they made a reservation for them and their families, let's say a family of 4, for instance, and sometimes they need itinerary, and I will complete the itineraries as well as give them, all the different amenities that regarding what the hotel has to offer, as well as other activities while they're there, and for days or whatever the case may be. But I thought I was pretty good at this, which I really was, because after that, it seemed like no sooner I got the job, I only worked for no more than maybe 3 months. I'm fired. What I do? I didn't do anything. I'm just fired. No explanation, no reason, just fired. 3 months, I'm out of there. I don't know why. Puzzling. So the first time I'm thinking, okay, well, that's your loss. Okay. So I'm adamant and I'm very persistent. So it goes out. So I'm going to get me another job. But at this time, I didn't go and yes, I did. I went and got another job in the tourism industry, the travel industry. So I work again. I get tired. And I'm working for a hotel this time. And as I'm working for a hotel, I'm doing front desk office work. I'm booking. I'm checking guests in and checking them out and things like that. And while I'm checking them in, I'm just like being as courtesy and hospitable as I possibly could be. And there was no reason for them to dislike me. So I thought I was doing well. Okay, I could see me getting my 401. I could save up money. I could take care of my daughter. I could get my retirement in order. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to stay at this job for a long time because I'm always on time. I'm never late. I don't really take breaks. I got this job in the bag. So I'm working at the hotel. All of a sudden, 3 months later, I'm out again. What I do? They don't have no explanation, just like the other job. I just gotta go. What do you mean I gotta go? I couldn't figure out why I had to go. I did nothing wrong. Nothing. I did everything so right. There was no reason for them to let me go. So once again, I leaves. Of course, I'm hurting because when I go home, I go tell my boyfriend, and right away, I'm like, just all in his arms. I needed that support Because now I can't understand. This is the second job, and I'm wondering why is it I only work. It was 3 months. They let me go. Don't know why. So of course, I guess with my boyfriend, we have a little intimacy. I'm looking at him for support. I'm just want his arms wrapped around me. Just comfort, just support, just love. Just be there for me because right now I can't explain why. What's going on with me? Is it me? Do I need to correct myself? Okay. So the next day I sought out to start looking for another job. Here I go again. I'm adamant. I'm persistent. It's their loss. That's my attitude. It's their loss. Oh well. Okay. So at one point I figured maybe because I'm dark skinned, maybe this is what's going on. So I get another job in another hotel. I'm working on time and again never late because I want to make sure that while I'm working that there's no reason for me to be let go. No reason. Busting my butt, getting it on time. I'm even filling in, putting in hours for other people so they can get off. Because I wanted my jacket to look good, that I was somebody dependable, committed, yet still courteous and hospitable and persistent. So I get hired to get another job. I'm working. I'm doing front desk. I'm checking guests in. Sometimes guests have packages or a lot of luggage. So I get the cart. I might help them to their room, because I know they may need some help. And I just be as hospitable as you possibly can because, you're in the tourism field and they expect that. And so I was just working my butt off, putting in my time, putting in time for others, assist with training people, heavy phone volume galore, rescheduling, counseling, canceling. Some people when they call in, making reservations over the phone, taking calls. I mean, I was really, really busy in the industry. And it gets hectic at times because people are coming. You have to fill your entire hotel. And that may consist of some 50 to some places 100 hotel rooms. And can you imagine selling out? So that takes a lot of time on your hands to complete the rooms and things like that, or fulfill the rooms rather, or to rent the rooms out. But I'm called into the office, and you know what happens? 3 months later, I'm fired again. Now, in 1 year, 3 months later, I'm fired. No explanation, no reason, just fired. I'm let go. Now, each time I get a job, the first thing I'm thinking, number one, I can get onto a job. And if I get a job 9 times out of 10, I will be able to at least work my way up to my retirement plan. I can work my way up to, especially the 401k, because I thought that would be a part of my retirement plan and I could consider that. Meanwhile, I had her I had to take care of. So the first year, which is practically gone, because if it's every 3 months, if I went through 3 jobs every 3 months, I mean the first year, that's 9 months right there. 3 more months, the year's gone. And of course, quite naturally, I get another job. The same thing happens again. But over the years, I start noticing, like, even though now when that 3 months came by, that was a full year. So now this pattern is transpiring. So even when I file my taxes, it's kind of weird. You're filing your taxes, and what you see there is that you're bringing 4 different W-4s or W-2s to file. They make you look unstable. It make you look like you are incapable. Or maybe you may have a mental condition why you can't keep a job, why you can't hold a job. couldn't figure this thing out. What is the problem? This went on year after year after year after year after year. I mean, it was so severe. In 5 years' time, I said, wait a second. Still not thinking. After all those years, new methods start popping. Now they want to come up with, oh, well, we need to find out for the workforce program when you get a job now. If do you get food stamps? Do you get welfare? And, a lot of times I was always wondering, why do they need to know that information? So now it looks like every time I got a job now, this is why I'm being fired. Because it's worth welfare to work some kind of mess. So if you get food stamps and you get a job, then I don't know if you're being released because of that. At that time, that's what I was thinking. Like, welfare, man, what that got to do with anything? Every job I got from that point forward could ask the same questions. Well, because of the inconsistency with employment and being out of work for a period of time and a repeated process of being out of work, make me look like something's wrong with me. It got to the point that I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. Now, my plan was to get on Section 8 1 year, go to school, pick up a trade, which I did, and graduate in 87. Travel and tourism diploma. I received it, and it worked. I was able to work in the industry. 1 year. 1 year. Went from 1 year to 20 something years. All those years in between, after 5 years, I kept trying to figure out in my mind, what is the problem? So one day I get a job. Now, I was living at 555 South 17th Street, mind you. Okay. Matter of fact, this was a while back before I even got 10 or 20 years. And I get hired for a company called Meeker Management. Now, Meeker Management were sort of like a housing development company. And they were having houses in the area in which I stayed. And they were renting out to people in the area. So it just so happens that they needed somebody in the office. Okay, I got some office skills. I've been working in hotel front desk work. I'm dealing with people. I'm pretty much a people person. I can assist people if they need things done, any type of resolutions that you may need handled. I was handling a lot of things under my belt, and I got some skills because of the hotel industry. So I thought maybe I'd be good in this area. So they hired me to work as far as a administrative assistant, you might as well say. So what they needed was people to take calls. Well, they needed me rather to take calls, write down orders for complaints that tenants is having, any issues. They needed assistance with. I did some sort of reconciliation with accountant and prepared bank forms for distribution or drop off for bank accounts. And so this time now, I figured, I ain't even gonna get my hopes up because I see what's been going on lately, and I couldn't figure it out. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna go with what I can and try to take the money that I make and do whatever I can to make what I can make to make ends meet with me and my daughter. So 3 months come, and what happens? The man says to me, okay, time's up. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's December. And it was around Christmas time, and I'll never forget because I remember that because we had a toast in the office with this he with a bottle of wine. But it really wasn't wine. It was more like some orange juice or something. It was sweet and it had some bubbly to it, but it was like orange juice in a cute little bottle. It was cute. And I was like, all happy celebrating with him. But then when we took that cup and he said, cheers, it's been a pleasure. You've been working with us. You are very good at what you do. All of our tenants was happy with your work and how you work with them and yada, yada, whatever. Okay. So I'm sitting here thinking like, well, where is he getting at? Where he going? Well, you know what time it is. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, you know what time it is. You know we got to let you go. You got to let me go. Let me go. It's only been 3 months. 3 months. 3 months. Everything is 3 months. What's this 3 months crap? I ain't gonna lie, I got pissed off. Now I'm really mad because I'm even losing jobs that I didn't even go to school for. I didn't even train for. And I was doing well in that area without going to school. And yet 3 months came again and I lost that job again. How am I losing jobs? It's just never late. Didn't never leave the office because my lunch was at my desk. Never took a break. Back then I smoked cigarettes. Never took a break. And mind you, the office was around the corner from my house. So all I had to do was walk around the corner. Never late. And again, job taken from me. Now, when I'm stripped from that job, you strip my household. That means now I'm getting low on funds. Now that's going to force me to get back on welfare. I don't want no damn welfare. I don't want to just sit home. And of course, when we as women get upset, especially when something is bothering us, if we can't figure that thing out. So a lot of times, we do run to our love with our boyfriends and just look for comfort. And in the intimate, we might have a little intimacy. And if we do that, the man is there to hold us, keep us from falling, strengthen us, encourage us. That's what I was with my man for. And when I did that, in the privacy of what I thought was private in my house, my apartment that was renting through Housing Authority Section 8. How many times I went and wanted to go into the arms. Just I wanted their arms wrapped around me to tell me, baby, it's going to be all right. It's their loss. You'll get another job. And when I had a boyfriend, that's what they said to me. Comforted me. And if they didn't do that, that's what I was looking for from them. But for some apparent reason, they couldn't stay either. Wait a minute. If I get a boyfriend, he can't stay with me. If I get a job, can't keep it. If I change and get another job, doesn't matter. Can't keep it. It's not me. Not when I went to school for it. Graduated. Still not allowed to keep it. I'm so disgusted because I can't figure this out. Like, what is the problem? I don't drink. Back then I smoked cigarettes and I did smoke weed, I will admit. But I wasn't into heavy drugs like cocaine. I never smoked a pipe. I never sniffed nothing up my nose. I definitely didn't do needles. I never took pills. I never did any of that. So every time I got upset, I would just want just to be comforted by a man, my boyfriend. And I only wanted just one man. Just one man. It was tiresome. Keep going to a job, get fired for no reason, no explanations, nothing said. Then it got to the point where they would say stuff like, oh, well, you know, you were the last one hired. We have to downsize. So, of course, you're the first to have to go. So I guess they must have thought about that and said, well, maybe we need to come up with some kind of new something repertoire or something they could say to people when they let them go, especially for no reason. So for a long time, I thought it was the color of my skin, me being black. Yet I was qualified and I had the skills necessary to complete any position. I was no fool. But okay, they let me go. This is part one. My story of how I escaped the horrors of Section 8. Stay tuned because I got more for you. More.